Three Keller Williams from three very different markets asking three great questions to one rock star agent about how they study the millionaire real estate agent and how they use the lessons learned from this book,
aka the Red Book,
to do the one thing that guarantees them a life by design and not just by default.
These are the RedTalks with Aaron
and Luke
and Patrice.
So hello and welcome to RedTalks this week. And our guests this week are Greg Kilroy and Ellen Kilroy with the Velocity Group at KW Sonoran Living, serving the families and communities of Scottsdale, Arizona and beyond. So I'm really excited to talk with our guests today because of the extra dynamic they bring to their business and our show as a powerhouse couple running their business as a husband and wife team. So we're going to do a deep dive on this for sure. And I want to make sure that we look at all the optics around this very popular way to run a real service-oriented business. But before we get into all of that, let's make some brief intros. So Greg has been with KW for all 17 years of his real estate career and has been a serving member of his ALC for 14 of those. And his thirst for knowledge and excellence has garnered him many awards along the way, and now he's giving back through teaching and learning. Meanwhile, his wife and partner in the business, Ellen, has been an Arizona resident for the last 19 years, has been with Keller Williams for 15 of those, has served on her ALC for the last 10 years, and has also been the director of the luxury division within their market center for the last 5 years. Ellen's love for her business is surpassed only by her passion for her family of 2 kids, her wisecracking husband, and their 2 fur babies. So Greg truly considers Ellen to be his superpower, and together they've created a winning formula over at the Velocity Group. So a ton to talk about in today's show and so much more to learn about this.
Yes. So we have 3 simple questions for you around the key areas of mindset, productivity, and giving back. As you know, we want to make sure this is as impactful, fun, and engaging as possible for our audience out there. So we'll spend just a few minutes discussing each of these topics that are so important to us. Is that okay with you guys?
Yes, of course.
Perfect. All right. Well, then let's get cracking on with the show. Patrice, what is your first question?
Well, thank you for joining us. And you guys, for all those real estate couples that are out there, the first thing that everybody wants to know is what's the formula for success, both in your business and in your marriage, right? And since you both have stellar backgrounds running your own separate businesses, what do you feel is the one thing that you both had to master as far as your individual mindset so that you can be the dynamic powerhouse couple that you are?
I think the secret for success in the business and in marriage is validating each other's opinions, listening to each other, especially because Ellen and I have dramatically different styles. And a quote I heard that I like a lot is that, of course you're different. If you weren't, one of you would be unnecessary. So the fact that our different personalities come to the table allows us to really appeal to different client types and to see a different perspective, different solutions to the problems. And then alternatively, another way to put it would be just telling her she's right all the time.
Yeah, that really is helpful.
I mean, no, just only when she's right? Which is all the time.
Yeah. Well, it's patience.
So
too.
let me ask
Patience,
you guys, who came to who first? Like tell us the story behind how you guys met and who came to who with the idea of going into business together?
Why don't you take this one?
Well, Greg was already at the Market Center, and so I joined as a new agent, and he was a teacher. He was one of my, the classes are called Ignite now. So he said, you should take, a seasoned agent to lunch. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, okay. Anyway.
You didn't know that was a line at the time, right? You're like, okay.
Right. I thought,
Input in command.
That's right. Yeah, it was. You will take. Yeah.
That's a very smart plan. Sorry, go ahead.
So we started talking that way, and then I started working Greg's open houses. I asked him if I could, hold those open, and I had, was just starting, so that worked out, and then I started to get into luxury, and Greg, that was actually a new territory for him, so he invited me to be part of a luxury listing and listing appointments, and we got it. And that
Yep.
kind of started the process.
Yeah. And honestly, guys, that was one of the things I did when I was a brand new agent, was I would look at who the top producers were in the office, and I would say, can I take you to lunch? Because honestly, if you can spend $15 or $20 and sit down with somebody who's making 6 figures or almost 7 figures, that's time and money well spent. In her case, I had ulterior motives. But that absolutely is an approach. And, you know, we'll still look to connect with other high producing agents in our region and see if we can get time, because we've got something to learn from everyone. Matter of fact, that's also why I teach classes, even to the new agents. They're going to bring ideas and insight that maybe haven't hit us. And so, you know, Keller Williams has always said, to achieve mastery, you must teach. And I really, really believe that.
I love that too. I completely agree. And of course, it's really sweet. So I don't know if you guys are getting this, but they came in as they both were running successful businesses. And then Greg is so sweet. And he coached her right into a loving partnership, right?
Right, coach, right into his arms.
I love it.
And I think,
Right.
I think that's also something to know.
Do you know the old saying about every no gets you closer to a yes?
Mm-hmm.
This one challenged me with how many no's I got. I honestly, I have never pursued someone so long and had so many rejections and kept going. But they say the sweetest victories, you know, come after a long, difficult challenge. So
She knew her value proposition and she was going to make sure, right?
Wise. Greg,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I
let
love
me
that.
ask you guys,
And I'm really
when it comes to, oh, sorry. When it comes to running a business together, a lot of folk out there who are going to be watching this and listening to this are contemplating it, or maybe they're already doing it and would like to understand, like, were you very conscious or conscientious around dividing the tasks and staying in your lane, or are you truly like are you kind of dovetail together, or you cross everything, or do you kind of, is one person an ops person, the other person is front facing? Or tell us a little bit more about that.
So we're both producing agents, and you know, the dynamics of our disc, we are opposite. So naturally, Greg loves the systems, and I just say, give me the people. I want the people. Let me talk to people. So that's great. And we also, our coach has helped us about leading certain segments of our team and using our skills to the best for our team. And we've had to work on, you know, patience and accepting somebody else's ideas. And so we have like certain cues. So when we lead some of our meetings, if there's a topic that comes up that we're not on board, like together with, we'll say, okay, let's table this for now, or let's circle back to that. So that's our subtle cues in front of our team to say, okay, we need to, like, you know, discuss that further.
And on a less subtle note, she tries to remain within kicking distance. Oh, yeah. Oh.
Very smart. They're like, oh, they're so cute. They're always connected. And they think you're trying to hold hands, and she's just really wanting to make sure that she can give you a little kick.
Yeah, she's driving her ring into my finger.
So communication, right?
Is,
There's all different kind of communication,
right.
nonverbal communication.
And in truth, it is fantastic sometimes to have that coach, the neutral third party to kind of mediate and referee, because all of us are subject to getting our emotions involved a little bit too much sometimes. And business ought to be, you know, kind of logic-based decisions and what makes sense. And really the fact that, and by the way, I used to coach on my own, and then Ellen would come in sometimes, and now we're fully coached together. Every once in a while, we'll take an individual call, but really the most progress comes when we're both on the phone call. I also like to say, in terms of division of labor, she's at the heart of the business. You know, she's the one who will find out what the client's favorite wine is, what their favorite snacks are. And at the end of a day showing properties, you know, the client gets back, it's 100 degrees, and they're just worn out, and they have, you know, their favorite beverages waiting in their hotel room. That's the kind of concierge touch that she brings. And it's part of the reason I wanted to join with her. I was seeing her receiving closing gifts from clients. I'm like, I thought I'd buy the gifts. So it was a different element that she brought to the business where I'm just so much more functional. And again, without her involvement, it wouldn't be the same.
Well, and
I love that. So it's no judgment of you are who you are and you bring your very best to the table, and she is who she is and she brings her very best, and together you just give so much more to the clients and to your team, it sounds like, right?
Yep. That's our goal. In a perfect world.
Well, and I also feel like this is a perfect match, right? Because Greg is the one that is super this way, right? Going on those listing appointments, very analytical, like you said, but then you're really the reason why they're clients for life, because you have that other side of the coin. So it really is like the two best things coming together.
Well, thank you. We hope that.
Yeah. I firmly believe that for clients to work with you, and I think more so on the listing side, I just think they have to trust you and they have to like you. Yeah. And, I'm going to talk about numbers, and the analytical part of the couple is going to say, okay, that makes sense. And then the feeling side of the couple is going to go, I love them. I trust them. I like being around them, and that works on a high level.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, our listing success rate, when we go on an appointment, we close in excess of 92% of the time we get the listing.
And Ellen, you didn't even know that number. You're like, what? I just felt like a lot to me,
What?
right? Because that's
Oh,
how
yeah.
I'm like,
Pretty
oh,
much.
that sounds great.
I love it.
Yeah. I would say we get most of them. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Luke, do you want to ask your question?
Sure. So my question really is around the productivity piece for you guys. And so what I'd like to know is since you run a team, but you're also both a couple with your own lifestyle, and it seems like you're very much into, enjoying yourselves and going out there. How do you get that counterbalance right in your personal lives as a couple, and also keeping the momentum going with production in your team?
Well, it definitely is a balance that we work on daily. We do. We do have a team. So we have 3 junior agents that we are training up. So we've got that leverage, which is fantastic. So, and we've made a point this year. You talk about that.
Okay. So in one example, we wanted to get away for a weekend celebration for Ellen's birthday. And we had some new listings coming on that weekend. And typically we've got a process where it goes live on the MLS on a Wednesday. We hold off showings till Saturday, hold it open Saturday and Sunday to kind of maximize the exposure. And in our market right now, it's customary that you might get, 6 offers, 10 offers, 30 offers on a property. So you'd have hundreds of people through that open house on Saturday and Sunday. Well, that's contrary to the idea of let's go spend a weekend somewhere nice. So we plugged in our junior agents and said, you're going to share in this listing so they get some of the compensation. And we plugged in them for their time. They held the listing open all weekend. They received all the phone calls and questions and texts from the agents trying to get info to get their offer accepted. And then they received the offers, vetted them, and kind of Sunday night said, here are the top 3. And when I had to review just 3 offers and not talk to 50 agents, my goodness, was that a blessing. Mm-hmm. and a good distribution of the funds, because they have more time than they have money, and we have a little bit less time. So it worked out really well.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And the ultimate in using leverage, right? I mean, this is, yeah.
Yeah, leverage is key for sure. And this year we've promised to every other month to have a little staycation. So we can just, even if it's a night, just to turn it off. It's so important.
Luke, I love that you use the word counterbalance, because I think of it as that it's not ever static. I mean, you never reach it. You're moving left, you're moving right. You're always trying to get it correct. And you can dial it too high in one direction or the other. And you probably would guess that I would dial it too high on the work side. And she helps me remember the important things in life aren't aren't closings and transactions, it's connections with people.
Amazing.
Oh, I needed to hear that today. Thank you.
I know, I love that. That's awesome. And both are important, right? I mean, you do have to have.
They are.
Sometimes we do have to be really intense in our work if we want to get to that next level. And then we also have to make sure that, yeah, we're healthy. So yeah, love that.
Yeah.
So between the two of you guys, like, it sounds like maybe, Greg, you're more kind of analytical, maybe a little more of a kind of a C type. Is that right? If we use the DISC assessment, would that be fair to say?
Yeah, 96% of the time, that would be correct.
So, okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So therefore, I'm assuming that you're probably the guy that's going to write all these systems down and have it kind of like, this is how we want to do it. But then it sounds like, Ellen, you come in with the kind of the more spontaneity and the more fuzzy, warm, and sort of tender stuff. Is that kind of true, or?
It's true. I'll look at the systems and I'll say, okay, well, let's put some fun in this. Like, what can we do to, like, make this a little more fun?
Yeah, at family reunion, when we walk through the KW marketplace, I blindfold her. Like, let's get
that. Oh, this is fun.
It's trouble is we didn't know you guys before that. So just wait, because I'm just as much trouble. Elle and I are going to be into all kinds of nonsense, actually.
Yeah.
Greg, I will be like you to Patrice. Like, no, Patrice, let's move forward. Keep going.
Yeah.
Here, don't touch it.
Focus.
Yes, and we're going to come back with all these beautiful relationships, right? You guys are going to learn about the systems. It works well. Teamwork.
We will. It'll be perfect.
Oh, I shall.
You guys are almost like a team separated by a coast.
Yeah.
Right?
There you go.
Yeah, we've learned so much from one another because I'm relationships and she's systems for sure. And so it is really neat as you blend the best of both worlds. It's really spectacular. So I love you saying all this. I'm like, oh my God, this is so right.
Well, and it works really well for this too then, because we get a great accent and some super knowledge from another side of the business, and great leadership within this three-way here for the RedTalks, which is just phenomenal. We all get to learn.
And we get to cover the world, so that kind of feels cool, very worldwide.
You guys are global.
I love it. All right, before I turn into an accent, I'm going to ask my question because then I'll feel more important. So you both play super active roles in your family and your real estate family, with your market center, and I know also in your community, which is so important. So please tell us about some of the ways you give back to all of those key areas of your life and what impact that it has on you. You guys as a couple, maybe not just as business partners.
Okay, well, first off, I love to teach. If I wasn't a real estate agent, I'd be a school teacher. I just really enjoy it. And that really was my path to mastery, especially the scripts and responsives. Like, I'm really good at having those conversations. Actually, I proctor our office script practice every Friday morning, but I also still teach a whole bunch. Love doing it, especially about negotiation. Kind of have my own curriculum that I created for that class. And I had a background as a cyclist before. I was a competitive cyclist for a long time. And so many of my clients have some tie to cycling. And when I closed a transaction that was a past cyclist connection or a referral from a friend through cycling, I purchased a bike through World Bicycle Relief that goes to a less developed country. Like, for instance, in Africa, it helps girls go to school when school's 5 miles away, or helps them get to the one clean well to fetch water to bring it back to the village and kind of thing. So
that's so cool.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I've got this goal. I'd like to look back, when I finish my career and say, look, I've donated over 1,000 bikes, I think. So I think last year donated 8, and I think I've got 3 so far this year.
Do you feel like that also propels your business, focusing on, or maybe not focusing on, but having that giving back aspect?
I always think that when you think about others and not just yourself, the universe rewards it.
Our clients appreciate that as well. And when we do closing gifts, And also we ask if there's a favorite charity of theirs that we can donate to as well. And if they don't have one, we have a few that we donate to. So like the bikes and pets and single moms. So.
Can I ask you
more about that? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't hear the question.
Oh, I was just going to ask more about that. Luke, I hope I'm going in the same direction you were going in. Do you let your client know that you're going to donate beforehand, or do you just do it at the closing?
At the closing.
Well, and then at certain listing appointments, we do talk about that as well.
I don't.
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, sometimes we go on appointments on our own.
In my world.
And I don't think we've leveraged that yet to let our clients know that we're good humans in that way also. And I mean, I guess we ought to, but that wasn't the origin of it.
So now we've got a new website that we're creating, and there will be a tab on there about for the charities that we support, and so I think that's good.
Yeah, and each of our junior agents on our team, we've said pick something important to you, and they're all in on it, which is great.
I love that. I love you bleeding kind of your culture and your vision and who you are. And it's great, of course, when people know, but even if they don't, doesn't it make you feel better? Like you're kind of a stronger self when you know you're doing the right things. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the most charitable work is done quietly.
Absolutely, 100%.
Usually I'm talking through it, but it's okay.
I guess the other side is the bigger you grow your business, the more charity you can do. So money's good for the good it can do.
Yeah, I'm giving you a heart for that one because that's really it, right? That's our responsibility, is to grow big enough to give more.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And how powerful the mindset can be if you have that abundant mindset where whatever levels of wealth you have, if always you siphon off, like Tony Robbins would say, like 10% of your paycheck right away should just go towards charity or somebody else other than yourself, and just to be able to have that mindset is phenomenal. So applaud you guys for that.
Yeah, and I bet as a couple too, right? I mean, it just bonds you closer when you know that you're on the same page and you're just doing something bigger than yourself. I think that's really, really cool.
Oh, for sure. It's exciting and it feels good. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
thank you guys for coming and sharing.
I have one last question though that I'd love to ask. What would be the one thing that you would tell a couple that were contemplating going into business together as real estate agents?
Well, really important. Sorry, I didn't hear.
Oh, I said besides, yes, dear.
Oh,
besides that.
Besides that, which is very important, is having that meeting with yourselves each week, a business planning meeting, and just discussing both of your strategies and what you want to incorporate in the business. I think when we first started, we both were running two different directions, and having that meeting with ourselves really changed our business. And our coach, our coach was great.
I like. Greg?
I would say, that meeting is really critical. Patience and understanding, respect for the difference in styles, and don't argue in front of the children.
That's why we when we're in those meetings, right? Like, let's circle back to that later. That's one of our cues. Like, okay, we need to discuss that topic.
Yeah, that's if it's clients or if it's the junior agents on our team. We certainly don't want to have any power struggles in front of them.
So smart.
But also, I got to imagine, just for the clients, it must be such a win because you effectively have power times two, right? So you get two different types of personality, a true team kind of approach, and you've got the wisecracking guy and the all, the fuzzy warm, let's make it all happen lady.
Yeah, I think 1 + 1 = 3. I think we present in a way that there are really no gaps in providing, very high level professional service, tremendous skill set, the heart, the caring, the warmth, the intuitive response to client needs. I think we really hit on all cylinders.
We sure work at it. So.
Yeah.
And again, that's a great value proposition too. So I love how you use your strengths and then how you kind of giggle through, the challenges, right? It's like, we just figure it out and communicate and adapt.
Right.
So I think this is a great lesson. I've certainly learned a lot from you guys here today. I'm such fans of you as people and as business people. And I'm really, really grateful for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Wow,
much,
we
you guys.
adore
It's
all
been
of you.
amazing.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Also,
Thank
just
you.
want to say for everybody that's watching, you guys, what an amazing opportunity to have such a fabulous, well-run couple team to ask questions. So when we do this live on Facebook, please bring your questions, especially if you're a couple out there that's trying to figure it out. I know they're really open to answering things, and the love that
We are.
we all admire what you've built. That's why we asked you to come on. But yeah, make sure to bring your questions. I'm sure there's going to be tons, and thank you both for your time today.
It's been our pleasure.
We're
It's
big
our
fans.
pleasure.
Thank you all.
So happy to help.
We're giving you hearts.
Yeah.
Thanks, you guys.
I don't know. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.